What's up, everybody? It is another Monday, February 17th, 2025. Uh, I'm doing all right. It's tough to say I'm doing bad, but in a way, I don't feel as awesome as I would like to feel. Not feeling as great as I was feeling last Monday. I had a really good start to the week last week. Monday and Tuesday were great. The rest of the week kind of fell off a bit for me. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as great as I might have hoped. I had a job interview today, and I think it went well. It was pretty, I don't know. It wasn't, particularly stressful or anything. It didn't seem like they were, I don't know, judging me too harshly, I guess you could say, right? It definitely, it's an entry level job at a fast food place kind of thing. So it's, while I haven't done that many interviews in my life, it definitely is one of those where it's like, oh, they're really kind of just trying to make sure that I'm not crazy and I can hold a conversation and answer certain basic questions in a acceptable way, I guess, and just be normal, you know what I mean? Right? Like, they're not looking for anything exceptional. And then don't get me wrong, I'm not even trying to act as if I've already gotten the job or that they were always going to give me the job, but it is different from, I don't know, some place that might require you to have experience or a degree or a certification that might be more competitive, right? This is, minimum wage kind of stuff here. I do have to go in for a second interview at some point, but hopefully that goes well, because I could definitely use something a little bit more stable than DoorDash. It's a bit unfortunate because I like DoorDash. I like working for DoorDash, but only so much as it's an easy job and it's a very stress-free job. And so the actual work itself, while I'm on the job, I think is really good for my mental health, at least while I'm working. The problem is the pay is not that good, especially when you consider how much money I have to spend for gas, how much money I have to spend on oil changes and other maintenance on my car. And so while the work itself, I think, is good for my mental health because it's easy, it's relaxing almost, because if you're someone who enjoys driving like I do, it's like going for a walk. You're outside chilling. It's totally low key. But because it doesn't pay what I need it to, the amount of hours I have to work, with it being my only job, are a lot. And the specific hours that I have to work are less than ideal. And so in the grand scheme of things, it might actually be worse for my mental health in the long run because of the other stresses it adds to my life outside of work, right? The job itself is pretty stress-free, but it adds additional stress to the rest of my life because they pay bupkis and rely on customers tipping well to even make this viable at all. If DoorDash actually paid decently, this job would kick ass. I would love it. I would be doing so well right now. I'm also kicking myself because, well, the pay from DoorDash isn't great. I'm also not the greatest when it comes to being financially responsible. And there is a world in which I could have made even working for DoorDash work out better for me than it has, but I've made mistakes. You know, and I'm wrestling with that. I'm dealing with that. I'm growing. I'm learning. But we're at that point now where DoorDash alone just ain't gonna cut it. But if I can get something part-time and it's like actually decent amount of hours, like more than just like 15 or 20, I can keep doing DoorDash for the rest of it and hopefully get my life into a more stable place. I didn't really go into today with this episode. I don't know what we're even calling this. Is it a podcast? Is it a vlog? Is it both? Is it everything? Is it nothing? I'm still figuring that out. Ideally, I want to upload to podcast services just because it is mostly talking and it is sort of, you're going to get the same experience mostly, even if you just listened. But right now, I'm doing everything I can to not concern myself too much with what this is, what I want it to be, the quality of it. I'm just trying to go through the motions and continue to do it, because even if it's not at the point where these videos are providing value to others, it's providing value to me. And this is the longest that I've ever consistently uploaded any videos of this style, or any videos at all. And it is proven to me that at the very least, I get enjoyment out of recording them, and if nothing else, it's helping me be more comfortable on camera and just be more comfortable filming this kind of stuff. And it's something that is kind of really solidifying that idea that I think it's a lot easier and it makes a lot more sense to begin doing something and then try to learn and grow and evolve it, as opposed to trying to learn everything you can about a subject or a skill before ever having your first attempt. Because while you can learn a lot from textbooks and from YouTube videos and from teachers and from sources telling you how to do something, if you're not also putting your knowledge to the test and actively using it, then it's going to be really hard to learn what areas you struggle with and to really solidify that information and have it manifest in a way that is usable to you. Because at the end of the day, on the one hand, you have to ask yourself why you're even learning something at all, because most of the time it would be to use it in some fashion, and then eventually you have to put your knowledge to the test and learn through doing. And I think it's really hard, especially if you do something, you try something, and it's really bad, and you feel bad about yourself, even though you shouldn't, because everyone is going to suck at stuff they've never done before. Even the people who are a natural at something, that only goes so far. They might have an initial outing that is better than to be expected, but nobody, even the most talented of individuals, can get very far without learning and solidifying the fundamentals and building on what they know and what they're already good at, right? Like, nobody can really succeed in this world off pure talent alone. I don't believe that. And the people who are pretending to or looking at others and thinking that that's what's happening are just not paying close enough attention. I guess that's the one thing that I'm okay with these being casual, but especially if I'm going to upload these as an audio only thing at some point. I guess the one thing that would be probably helpful for me to try to keep in mind is to eliminate the amount of dead air and just silence, to just try to keep thinking about my next topic while still talking, just so people don't think that their phone died or that the video ended or blah 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 blah. I hope that these will be interesting at the very least to somebody out there in the world, even if it's years from now, looking back at how I've grown, how far I've come. But the funny thing is, I keep telling myself that if anything that I make is entertaining or valuable at all in any way to even just one person, then I've done my job and I've succeeded. I don't even know if I'm recording right now. Did I press record? Okay, thank God. Thank God. I thought that I didn't. Woo! What was I talking about? Right. I always tell myself that if I can reach even just one person and have anything that I've created impact them in a positive way, that I've succeeded. That I've done what I've set out to do and I've made a difference in someone's life. And the funny thing is that I never stopped to think that one person might be me. That there's even a world in which these videos get 0 views and that I myself, months, years from now, come back and watch them and it just provides a window into my previous life and illustrates my journey and my growth and makes me feel good about myself. And I'm like, I thought for a long time that I wanted to be doing this, to be filming these and uploading them, because I thought that it would bring value to my life, at least. And I was never able to quite put my finger on why. Like, if someone were to ask me, why are you doing this? Or if someone were to even go as far as to try to convince me to stop doing it, like, what would I say? What would be my argument on why I want to do this? And it's like, I've never been really able to articulate it, but I've like, what I've been sure about, even if I can't like use logic to explain it, it's a feeling. It was deeply emotional. I'm just like, I can't really put it into words, but it just feels right. It feels like something I need to be doing. Maybe it's the idea that while I do my best to share more serious thoughts and whatnot with friends and family, it's hard for me to do that. And I feel like I'm not always able to fully express everything inside. And even though you could see something like this that I'm just uploading for all the world to see as an even more stressful version of trying to talk to somebody, but at the same time, while I'm sitting here recording this, I am speaking to no one. And maybe it's less the idea that I don't recognize that other people could see this, but it's the idea that there is no specific person or group of people who I am reacting to or envisioning watching this. 1,000,000 people could see this, or absolutely fucking nobody. And there is a weird freedom there. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to nobody, because again, I do intend and have been consistently uploading these every Monday. But right now, it's just a recording on my phone. Right now, not a single person is seeing this. It is even a different feeling than if I were live streaming. Right? It's weird. We live at a weird time. Technology, the internet, everything going on in the world. It's the best time, it's the worst time, it's everything. I'm sure that human beings all across history have felt like they live in the worst times imaginable. But almost every generation throughout human history has been living through the best times technologically, and technology does great things. It allows more and more of us to not have to live without food or water or shelter or doctors and stuff. Well, don't get me wrong, there's many problems yet to be solved, and plenty of people who do not have access to just what you would consider to be the basics of just like what you would need to live a happy, healthy life. But I'm pretty sure that more people than ever have been able to do that. And it only keeps getting better, even if sometimes it feels like progress is slow. And especially these days, it can feel like we're taking a lot of steps backward in a lot of ways. I'm going to end with this. Recently, it's been difficult for me to think about how I want to handle myself and just exist in the world when it comes to politics, right? Like, I really feel like I personally don't have the wherewithal to ever be a politician myself, to like actually have that be my main job and my like whole reason for being. But it's one of those things, you know, it's like this what they always say of like the people who don't want positions of power are most often the people who would be the best in those roles. And I'm not trying to like say that I'm anything special or that I would be an awesome mayor or congressman or president or whatever political position you could think of. I do believe myself to be a morally good person in a way that a lot of politicians are not. And I always wonder, is that just what everybody thinks, and that money and power corrupts even the best of us? I don't know. But what I'm pretty sure is that I don't want to be a politician. And I don't want to live in a world where I feel like I would have to become one just to make a difference, when it feels like so many people are just fucking this shit up horribly, and that not enough good, decent people are even running to give us voters the choice between a really good option. And it so often feels like we're picking between two dog shit options. And so even though I have no desire to get into politics as a career, even to step back from that, I struggle with the idea of how much politics should play a role in my life at all, because especially with the things that are happening right now, it stresses me out, and it bums me out. And the last 2-3 weeks, I've kind of just taken a break from actively trying to consume the news at all, and it's been great for my mental health. And in a time where I'm just struggling to make ends meet and just get my shit together as an adult, I don't need to be listening to all that. I guess I'm lucky that a lot of the things that have been going on don't directly affect me yet, and I have the privilege to not be as dialed in to current events. And I don't want that to be the norm forever, or just something that a way I always live my life. But for right now, when I've just got so many other things on my plate, it's been really nice to not be actively paying attention to it. But beyond that, maybe in a world where I am doing better and I don't feel as bogged down and can feel like I can be a little bit more educated about politics and current events without feeling like I'm going to have a meltdown, I struggle to envision how best to handle that, especially with me being someone who wants to get into YouTube and streaming and be a public face to some extent. I don't think I would ever go as far as to ban politics from being a subject to talk about in the things that I make. And I don't even mean like creatively, like to like, I think every sort of a lot of creative projects are going to be political to some sense, even if it's not a direct thing. Everyone has their own personal political ideologies and what have you, and everyone that complains about, oh, keep politics out of this and that, a lot of that's just dumb. And like, but I'm more talking about in the sense of directly addressing it. Like if I was gonna directly talk about something that Musk did or Trump did, or whoever it may be in the future, I always get a little bit like I don't want to talk about it. And when it comes to like being out with friends or being at some family function, I'm never the one to bring up politics. And I don't like discussing it with other people, because it very often gets heated. And so I tend to try to avoid it and to keep any news and ideas to myself. And it's not that I am trying to hide any particular stance or anything like that. It's just, people are, especially online, it's very difficult to have a civil conversation about politics, especially with the current climate. And yet, more so now than ever before, even if I have no desire to actually get into politics directly, there's this air, this feeling that I can't remain completely silent about some of the stuff that's going on, because this isn't just any time, this isn't just any presidency, this is some crazy wild shit that is happening, that I think the more we try to stay silent and pretend like everything is going to be okay is the exact thing that is going to lead to everything falling apart. And I at a certain point, you have to tell yourself that there's a certain line, there's a certain point in which you can no longer remain silent and continue to pretend like everything is okay. There are certain things that need to be stood up for. And we're talking about basic human rights and shit that are being threatened. And that is terrifying. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what I can do about it. But I increasingly feel that I cannot do nothing. And so I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to fucking exist in this world and even just like try to build toward buying a house and like starting a family and all that. All that stuff seems goddamn impossible. Let alone just the country falling apart, right? It's just like, it all seems like so much. Like, who am I to do anything? I can't even get my own life together, and I'm supposed to somehow contribute to trying to make sure that the world doesn't fall apart in the meantime. That doesn't seem like something a single person can do, and yet it's the struggles that we all face. So yeah, I don't know what the future holds. I'm just trying to take things one day at a time. But ultimately, when it comes to my personal life, things are improving. I can see the growth, slow as it may be, and I'm committed to the continued journey that is my life. Thanks for watching. Fuck Nazis. And I'll see you next Monday.